What's up, people? Today I'm going to be talking about farming strategy, as I've had a couple of people ask about that. I'm focusing on ViperSwap, obviously, but the ideas also apply more generally to other farming projects. Now, as much as I'd love to give a one-size-fits-all strategy, unfortunately there is no such thing, as it all depends on your personal situation and changing market conditions. So I'm going to be talking first about the factors that you need to consider, and then give a couple of simple examples at the end. And if you like my content, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, hit the bell icon, leave a comment at the end. And before we begin, remember to invest at your own risk, no more than you can afford to lose. Let's get started. So the first factor you want to consider is the emission schedule and bonus multiplier. ViperSwap farming rewards have a very high bonus multiplier for the first few weeks and actually months. Previously, it looked like this might only last 4 weeks, but the project lead 0x Viper has released the schedule and it should last longer. That's what we're looking at here. Currently we are in week 3, and when Monday comes around we will enter week 4. When we enter week 4, you can see that the multiplier halves, so your farming rewards will halve as well. By the time week 8 comes around, your farming rewards will only be an eighth of what they are right now. This could still be quite respectable, as the multiplier is so high right now, the rewards are ridiculous. You'll see that the 8 times multiplier lasts all the way till late July. The biggest point I want to emphasize here is that to get the best rewards, you need to get in early when the multipliers are high. When the multiplier drops off, your rewards will decrease, especially the unlocked rewards. And at some point, you might decide your cash would be better deployed elsewhere. This is when you might withdraw your stake entirely and rebalance your portfolio. When you decide to do that will be up to you. Only you can decide whether you feel that you're getting enough rewards from the farm. Now, another thing to be mindful of is the 95% locked farm situation. 95% of your farm is locked until Christmas Day. 5% of it is claimable immediately. The way I think about this is, I'm working on the assumption that the locked farm might be worth nothing at the end of this. The true APRs then are 5% of what you see here. In other words, these numbers divided by 20. That's the amount of farm you get immediately. So if Venom DAO is a success, then the December unlock will be very nice indeed. But I'm not hoping for that. I'm basing my strategy on securing as much unlocked farm as I can. The next factor to consider is the pools. Obviously, the highest APR pool stands out, and at the moment you get that in the BUSD Viper pool. Right now the APR is so much higher here that it almost doesn't make sense to stake in the other pools. But Viper is moving up in price, and it's still early in the project. If Viper keeps moving up in price, then you will experience impermanent loss by staking here if this keeps going. This is not actually as bad as it sounds, but it does mean that your stake would have been worth more if you'd have just held it. Staking in the 1 ETH pool, on the other hand, is a safer move. The coins are safer, they're less likely to move significantly against each other in price, so the impermanent loss risk is lower, and the APR is lower to reflect this. Still, Harmony is pumping at the moment, I think largely because of ViperSwap, so there is some IL risk here too, but certainly not as much as the BUSD Viper pool. In fact, if the two coins in the pair move up or down together, then you don't actually get any impermanent loss at all. Sometimes IL really isn't as bad as it sounds because you only experience a loss relative to hodling. For example, if Viper moves 2x in price, then you lose out 5.7% relative to just hodling it alone. I think currently the rewards outweigh the risk, especially as the bonus multiplier is high, but you need to weigh that up and decide for yourself. This tool, baller.netlify.app, lets you calculate your potential impermanent loss scenarios. So if Viper pumped 150%, for example, then my impermanent loss would be 9.65. Now, another factor you need to be aware of, which some of you might not know, if you withdraw your stake early, then you get hit with a penalty fee depending on how early you withdraw it. 4% under 24 hours and 1% under 5 days. I believe this timer is on a per pool basis and gets reset every time you add to your stake. So it can be a good idea to be a little conservative when deploying your cash and not deploy it all at once. If you stake everything at once, you can't take action if a better opportunity comes up in the very short term. This actually happened to me when the BUSD Viper pool was added. I had to free up capital from elsewhere to take advantage because I'd only recently staked in the other pools, and I didn't want to take the penalty for withdrawing early. Also, again, you might see the price of One or Viper moving up, and you might be worried about impermanent loss, but you wouldn't be able to withdraw your stake unless you take the penalty. Finally, what do you do with the unlocked farm? Well, you can either compound your stake, so you could sell it for, say, BUSD Viper and then add to that pool to increase your stake, though this does reset the timer. You could cash out to other assets, say ETH, say One, and just hold. This protects you from Viper potentially dumping, but then you do lose the upside exposure as well. Or you could just hold the Viper, which seems to be a great move right now as the price is going up. But how long will this continue? We don't know. So that was an overview of the factors to consider when farming. Here are a couple of example strategies you could follow. One lower risk strategy would be maybe balanced farming across the 1 ETH and BUSD Viper pools. Staking in 1 ETH lets you farm with safe coins, and BUSD Viper gives you that crazy APY. You could hold a stack of One and Viper alongside while the pump continues, potentially sell and stake more when you feel the time is right. A more high risk, high reward strategy might be to simply all in the BUSD Viper pool. Or alternatively, you could hold a large stack of Viper, gambling on some upward price action, then sell your Viper stack and stake in the BUSD Viper pool. So that's been my farming strategy overview. To recap, you want to factor in the emission schedule, the bonus multiplier, the pool selection and impermanent loss risk, and also how to use your unlocked farm. I hope that was helpful. Do leave a comment, hit like and subscribe. Goodbye and see you next time. One final point about impermanent loss. It's actually quite complicated, so I've put a link in the description to this guy's content. He explains better than I do. If you want to find out more, check it out. Also, if you've got any questions about Venom DAO that I can't answer, you should check out the Venom DAO Telegram. They might be able to help you out over there. That's it from me, and happy farming everyone. See you later.